Just three radio hosts on air, dumb debating.
Dumb Debates every Wednesday during the happy hour, and this is the time of week where you get to take over the Grum by sending us your dumb debates. And it does not matter. You don't have to send them in on Wednesday. I mean, we can archive these things. In fact, I've many that are archived.
The Archive Boys.
And we will visit and we will debate.
It's the warehouse from Indiana Jones, but full of dumb debates instead of artifacts.
Nick, that could be a meme.
It could be.
You could make a fun meme where it's him wandering through and it's like, is the hamburger a steak? Is a fullback a running back? When does it go from laundry to, what was that question? When does it go from laundry to clothes?
Yeah.
Clothes to laundry.
Yeah.
When does middle-aged end from last week?
Uh-huh.
Would you like all of your food to taste better every time you enjoy it if it means your farts get 1% worse each time?
Hell yeah.
Josh said, yes, I want to end the world with my noxious, explosive gas.
Real quick.
Yum, 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 yum.
Speaking of farts.
Yeah.
My girlfriend has a pet
It
snake.
has a farting
Wow.
problem.
Unreal.
Wow.
They've barely been together and Nick's going to talk about her farts on the radio.
Yeah.
She has a pet snake, right? And this snake...
That's why Chimney Rock is eroding.
Have you ever heard a snake poop? Because it is like a 5-minute fart noise, and it is both really hilarious and really stinky.
Oh, no, I have not heard of it.
It happens. Oh, it's
I've
the
never
weirdest
known
times,
anyone to
too.
have a pet snake, so I just...
Yeah.
We'll just be watching TV, then suddenly just hear
Yeah.
5 minutes, I swear.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that.
Huh. I guess I've never thought of snake poop before, but, you know...
I didn't either until I started
all
dating this girl.
beasts must...
Everybody poops.
Everyone poops.
We got this one sent to us from Jacob Padilla, which was a question that someone on Twitter named Matt asked.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned
Oh, do you
that.
have that same one?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
But I also have the graphic, but go ahead,
All right.
please.
So he asked, plane crashes on an island.
Okay.
Group can only get 3 items from the plane before it explodes. So here are the options. Matches, beer, 5 sweaters, first aid kit, radio, axe, gun with 25 rounds, books, hell yeah, 12 bottles of water, compass, sewing kit,
Suing kit?
sewing kit,
Suing kit?
sewing kit.
In case you need to take legal action against somebody else on the island.
I don't want to hear
We
you
got
give
this
me.
suing kit.
I don't want to hear you give me crap for reading content
You
wrong
live
again.
in
Wow.
Des Moines, Nick.
there was
or Iowa.
there was the time
Damn
we
it.
had the
I didn't live
word
in Des Moines.
CORPS.
Did you say corpse?
He
I
said
said
the Marine Corps.
Marine Corps. Back to the list, boys. Insect repellent,
I've already
5
forgotten
blankets,
most of this
flashlight, or 4-person inflatable raft. So that's 15 potential items. You can only pick 3.
Do we
of
have a
them.
graphic for this? Because I've already forgotten everything.
It's literally on
It's
the
on the screen.
Oh, we do.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It's the tweet,
Sorry, I
the
wasn't
original
looking.
tweet
Yeah,
from Simba Matt is on the screen. So you can only pick 3 of these items off the plane before it explodes. The first thing is the raft.
Oh,
Got to
'cause you're-
save the raft because you
you
want to
might
get
get-
off the damn
You
island.
might be able
Also,
to leave the island.
You might be able to leave
If you're the
island.
person who gets the raft, then you suddenly have a lot of power over everybody else. It's a
Mm.
4-person raft. You can choose 3 other people you like.
So 12 bottles of water is probably the next obvious one, right? Because at
Yeah.
the very, I mean, you're going to need it, and you can probably find something to drink on the island. But if you land on an island, I assume it's salt water, so you need
The
water.
Well, but-
insect repellent might not be bad because malaria.
I mean, are the 12 bottles of water really going to do you
No.
any good? If
they're
you-
gonna delay.
You're going
the
to run
inevitable.
out if you're on
See,
the island
that's-
for any length of
It's kind of how I
time.
feel about a lot of these items, right?
That's
Like,
why you need the raft, because at least that's the one thing that might save you.
What about
Might.
the first aid kit?
That's an important one.
I don't know anything about first aid kits. I wouldn't be able to do anything.
I mean, there's Band-Aids, there's creams, there's bandages,
Creams.
there's creams.
There's a part of me that thinks the 5 sweaters option is actually a pretty solid one because at night you'll probably get cold, you get a
Then
little chilly.
If you get the sweaters and
Oh,
the sewing kit, you can make other things. You can make a parachute. You can make a sail for the raft.
Don't know if you could do that. Do you need matches though? Eventually, you'll learn how to create fire, like Tom Hanks's character.
Mhm.
I have made fire, but before then, you don't know how to make fire. Matches are important because then you'll cook. You don't want to end up like Sipple.
It's true.
You got to cook your food.
Well,
Now,
if-
are they specific about the radio? What kind of radio are we talking
Now,
about?
that's a great.
It's
Yeah,
an
can you
AM
listen
radio.
to 1620 the zone?
Oh, our signal definitely does not get out to this island.
if you take the
But if
gu-
it was a CB radio or a communications radio, not a receiver radio,
a two-way radio.
yeah, it's a two-way radio.
shortwave, if you
Shortwave.
take the gun over the matches, you can
Wow.
take the rounds apart and you can use the gunpowder for combustion, which will help you start fires. Probably better than the matches. because you'd have more
Or
of it.
you can shoot the guy who decided to take the suing kit because he's trying to sue you.
You don't really need a compass on an island. Oh, I'm going to go north. That's water. I'm going to go water. East, water.
Yeah.
Well, if you're
not
wandering,
gonna
though,
need
you
the
might need it
compass.
to get back.
I guess we don't know how big the island is. Is this like Madagascar or
That's
is
the
it
thing. There's
tiny
a
little
there's
thing with
a
a palm
lot
tree?
of-
If
there's
you're
a lot of
stranded on a
questions.
desert island, it's a small island because all the big ones are already claimed.
Yeah. If you get
by
the
the
books, you can
people.
use that as kindling too.
Wow! Into book burning.
Nick, come on, man.
For survival.
You know who else burned books?
What if all the books were copies of Mr. H's books?
You
though?
know what?
Well, then you should
That's a
burn them.
conundrum.
You
Would
know
you
what?
burn books
Mr.
if
H might have been able to get away with it. You said, no, we were just doing it for warmth.
We were chilly. Germany was very
The
cold
SA
that
was
year.
very chilly that night. They
Yeah.
needed something to
Climate
something to keep
change in
them
the 30s
warm.
was
So,
the opposite.
Yes.
This airplane has multiple copies of Mr. H's book, and you don't want to burn it.
No, I wanted to burn those books. Also, what kind of airplane is this? I don't like the people that I'm on the
Same
airplane
airplane
with.
that has beer.
I have a lot of questions. Well,
Maybe
every
that's
airplane
you know
has
what?
beer, Nick.
Maybe that's why the Hindenburg blew up. It was carrying all those
Yeah.
copies of
We
Mein
gotta
Kampf.
burn these. Good job.
The very combustible book.
That's the over, by the way. That's a late over.
That is a late over. Let me
Man,
just-
John, you made a good
Designated
argument for the
Hitler.
four-person inflatable raft, so I guess I'll do that. Oh, you know what? I pointed out the sweaters. I missed the blankets, though, because we were so focused on suing kits.
See, if you get the
I'm gonna-
raft and the blanket and the sewing kit, you could make a sail for the raft, and that would help you a lot more than just having the raft.
Yeah.
Because the tide, you can't really control the raft.
Yeah, the
that well.
raft, the blankets, and I'm going with the axe.
I was just going to say, what about the axe? Because you can chop down trees and
No,
build a
It
raft,
didn't
like a
specif-
boat.
It didn't specify if it was the tool or the body spray.
Oh, my gosh, Nick. You stop it.
I'm going to assume it is the tool.
Yeah, I think, John, you chose some very good ones. Though there is a part of me that still wonders if we should be taking the matches.
I'm gonna
'Cause you
go.
can cook food.
I
or
think-
just take the beer and just get drunk and wait to die.
You're going to die anyway. Might as well get hammered while you do it.
I think I'm gonna do raft, sewing kit, blankets, and water.
No, you only get 3 items.
Oh, raft, sewing kit, and blankets.
All right. See you later,
Just
water.
Die in
Mike
the
makes a
water.
great point. You definitely don't need the compass. The sun can tell you your
That's
direction.
true.
Wow.
Also, the stars. if
Rises
it's
in
night.
the east, sets,
Sets in the west. Yeah. I've
Learn
seen this and heard about this.
constellations.
Yeah. Jordan.
Oh, you'll have plenty of time, and at least the light pollution won't be that bad.
Jordan says, just tuning in. Did Connor Happer crash this plane? Yeah, he definitely did because he said he could fly it. A rare sports question.
Ah,
Joe in Vegas and Old Man Doug. They only ask sports questions
Mhm.
in Dumb Debates. Joe asks,
Yeah.
will Matt Rule be on the hot seat if Nebraska was to say go 4-8 this year, considering this year's schedule is considered easy and the ones moving forward being much harder? Yes, of course he is.
yes.
4-8, that'd be a step back.
Especially after that loss to the
I mean-
Panthers. Oof.
I guess a hot seat, he would be viewed in a very
Unless it
Very
was a
negative
year,
way
unless
by
it
the-
was a year where they got decimated by injury.
he'd be viewed in a very negative way by the fans. Does that mean
Absolutely.
that Dannon is going to consider firing him? Definitely not. But he would be in trouble with the fan base. And God, those overreaction shows would be a tire fire all year long.
Yes, they would.
I got a fun one from
Okay.
Oscar.
Okay.
What is something a childhood friend had that you immediately knew the family was rich? And he gives an example where he says, for me, it was a basketball hoop with a plexiglass backboard.
Oh.
That is an excellent answer because most of my friends growing up didn't have that. And so occasionally you go to someone's house and it was like, whoa, you have that?
It was the amount of expensive toys for me. Like,
Oh,
once
so
in a
not
while-
just an expensive toy.
yeah, because like once in a while, you're gonna get an expensive toy as a kid, but if you have that many expensive toys,
Mm.
oof.
So the question
So-
again was
So you go to a childhood friend's house. They
Right.
have something there and you're like, dang, they have more money than my family does.
Legos, actually, Legos is a big one. They have
Really?
a lot of Legos. Yeah.
So
Legos
his
are
example was a
expensive.
plexiglass backboard on their
Mhm.
basketball hoop. Because like
Hmm.
for me, we had the hoop that had like this, you'd put the sand in it, and it wasn't a plexiglass. It was like one of those, where it made
Yeah.
a noise, and you couldn't really work on your backboard game because it didn't respond anywhere near like a plexiglass one did it at a gym, for
Mhm.
example.
I mean, this is extremely specific, but I had a classmate whose father was in the car business, owned a car dealership,
Mm-hmm.
and they had a big house, and they had a jukebox and a stand-up video game in their basement.
Whoa.
Oh,
This is like in the 80s when
like
you know,
a full-on arcade machine.
yeah, when you know the only places you found those things were in an arcade.
Yeah. That's a
That'll-
good
So
answer.
that was
That's
one.
good. That's a good 80s rich answer.
I
Yeah.
got one for you. It is it was actually my high school girlfriend had a bathroom in her bedroom.
oh.
She had a
Oh, and that was the other one too. If you had a TV, if the kid had
Uh-huh.
a TV in his bedroom,
yeah,
That's
so
true.
we had one of, we had all had TVs in our bedrooms by the time that I got a little bit older. But if you had your own bathroom in high school, I was like, whoa.
for a short period of time,
That's
it was if you
sweet.
had an Atari, but then everybody got an Atari.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then even mine, like I was gonna say Xbox. Like, well, no, because I had consoles. I didn't have the Xbox. I
Yeah.
had the GameCube.
Yeah, I
which
mean
is
that
cheaper,
that
but-
would be part of the answer is if you had one of the video game systems, but it was earlier than other
Mhm.
people did.
Yeah.
But I always looked for like, different things that would really explain like, oh wow, that is you guys live in a nice home,
Mm-hmm.
or a bigger home, those types of things. Also, I always felt like the friends who had more money, the house you could always like it was just a cleaner. It was there was more room for things and it was cleaner.
Mm-hmm.
Because I knew some people who had people who literally cleaned the house for them.
Mhm.
And so it's like, oh, your guys' house just a little cleaner than other houses that
Yeah.
I've been to. Not as messy.
Boss Rob says, what era from your past, grade school, middle school, high school, college, contains your go-to music list?
Ooh.
College. Well, I guess is it the bands from that era or like when I was into music,
Well, I think it's like the songs.
but do they have to have come out from that era?
Yeah,
like,
so
okay.
songs. So
okay.
in which era?
So this is weird for me because when I was in high school, instead of listening to a lot of the screamo emo stuff, I listened to a lot of 90s. I went.
Yeah, I was
full
gonna
on
say,
grunge in
for
high
me, it
school.
would be like the 60s. But so if I were to go with my favorite era that I can actually remember,
Well, but-
like new music coming out of,
Yeah, because this
That?
is new music.
I don't know, probably the early 2000s then, because I was into it in the middle and high school.
I guess mine would be middle school because that's when I started to fully get into music. So that's when
when
I
you became of music.
yes, because that's when I started discovering like Vampire Weekend and MGMT.
I would
and
like to
all
go
those
through
bands I
my
like now.
phone and
Check out
I
the-
don't have them cataloged by year, but figure out which years are most represented, and it's somewhere between middle and high school. It's one of those two, or it might be like that dividing line between, because in Fremont we didn't have middle school with junior high, so 7, 8, 9, and then high school was 10, 11, 12.
Mhm.
But I bet those years between 8th grade and 10th grade
Mm-hmm.
are probably the peak. That would be my guess. It's either middle school or high school.
Yeah, it's just because you're getting older, right? So you're
Definitely not college because that's Kurt Cobain and we all know
the
he sucks.
90s. John, what a great
But he's
era.
gone now and he can't hurt us anymore.
Alan says for Josh and I has to be MTV Total Request live music. Yeah, I didn't really watch a whole lot of MTV as a young.
Oh
but
God, we watched the crap of
but
that.
that
But
era,
that's back when they actually played the music videos.
yeah, that era of music definitely.
They still played music videos when I was in middle school. A lot of the music videos that came out when I was in middle school and high school were great too.
Didn't they only play music videos on MTV though, like overnight?
Well, I didn't.
That's what we're talking. We were talking about it on MTV,
Yeah,
not
they,
music videos in general.
They did play them in the morning. It was around 7 or 8 is when they kind of stopped doing music on MTV. But I watched Fuse a lot because that was more alternative.
Do they
rock
still make
videos.
music videos?
They do. They do. I like music videos a lot.
John, I don't listen to music, so I got nothing for you.
I didn't know. That's why I asked.
By the way, talking about how did you know a friend was rich? Jordan says for John, it was if someone had a shower. Nice callback, Jordan.
Everybody had their own rag. Mark says swimming pool, by the way.
Oh my gosh, yes, good one. That's a very good one.
Not just like a
Yes,
stand
an
up pool.
in-ground-
No,
Yes.
the in-ground
Pool.
pool. Yeah, I
Because
I
you were
didn't
like,
know anybody that had an in-ground pool.
I knew a few friends who had an in-ground
I
pool.
did not know.
I didn't know
anyone had an
anybody.
It's so
in-ground pool.
nice because you didn't have to be around a million annoying kids.
I think the reason a lot of people around me didn't is because we had the rec center and it was a town of 1,500 people.
Yeah.
That was a marker for locally rich. If you had a season pass, a summer pass to the rec
Mhm.
center, because you could just go whenever you want.
Yeah.
I'd have to get the punch card. Then when that ran out, you'd have to get another punch card.
I had to get another punch card. Charlie writes, if you could only watch the movies of one particular actor or actress for the rest of your life.
The actor?
The actor? Who's his vice president? Jerry Lewis? Whose movies would you choose? They don't have to be the star of the movie. They just have to be in the movie.
First name that comes to mind is Harrison Ford.
Oh,
That's a very
man,
good
you get some
pick.
franchise movies.
You get franchise movies, but you get
like a wide variety.
a lot of
that's a
you
good
get a
one.
pretty good variety. I
And
mean,
Air
it's-
Force One.
and Air Force One.
And
The
he's been
Fugitive.
acting for a long time.
Yes.
He has.
Because if you
Yes.
chose a newer one, even if they're in a lot of great movies, but they're just going to have fewer choices. I it's funny because Matt Damon had a movie come out this week or last week. So his podcast that I was listening to was going through his filmography. And so I have him on the brain right now, but that guy has been in, like the Bourne movies. He was in Saving Private Ryan, for example. He was just in Oppenheimer. He was in Good Will Hunting. Like the guy has a lot of range. He was in Interstellar. He has a lot of range. Now, I don't think he is my pick, but I suddenly have him again. I have him on the brain right now. Who would I have?
My go-to
Who's my favorite actor?
My go-to is Bruce Willis, but that's only because he was my first favorite actor.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I like that many Bruce Willis movies.
Yeah.
Okay, now here we go. I have looked up. These are the actors that have been cited for the most acting credits.
All right.
So, number one on the list, I don't even know if anyone of you know who this is. Bess Flowers.
No.
She was a 20s, 30s, 40s actress. Second on the list, Eric Roberts. Eric Roberts has 810 acting credits to his name.
No. I think I have an answer. Tom Hanks.
That's a really good. Now,
You got a lot of good movies in there.
it only counts things he's acted in, right? Not things he's also produced.
Correct. This is just
Okay.
them as actors. But you get a lot of good movies. You get movies where he's a star. You get movies where he is mainly a star in movies, isn't he? He's not like Matt Damon where he's just kind of showing up and playing a random character. Matt Damon has been in some of the all-time movies. Or he has too, but Tom Hanks has been in some of the all-time movies.
Number 5 on the list of actors with the most screen credits, Danny Trejo.
He's been in some
AKA
fun stuff.
Machete.
Yeah.
He has been in a lot of fun stuff.
461 acting credits. Number 6 on the list, Richard Reel.
See, you don't want any.
But he's a character. But here's the deal: he was in Office Space. He was in Casino.
Okay.
He was in Free Willy. I mean, he's just got a lot of different. So I'm kind of looking at some of these because you're getting a huge variety. I mean, usually they're not the lead actor. They just have a small role in the film.
Mm-hmm.
Christopher Lee would be a good one.
Oh, absolutely.
You would get the prequels, the Star Wars prequels. You'd also get the Man with the Golden Gun.
You'd get Lord of the Rings.
He was in Lord of the Rings.
Christopher Lee.
Who's Christopher Lee?
That was
Saruman.
Count Dooku.
Oh yeah, nice. Okay.
Oh, that's a really good. That's a really good choice.
Man, there's some interesting.
So you're just going with like a character actor,
well,
random
but
guy.
yeah, but I mean but
You
seriously,
gotta like
but-
the movies just because they've been in 100 movies. You gotta find some that you like.
What
in
about,
there.
like,
right. But I mean, if you're in over 300 movies, there's a good chance he's probably been in a.
What
he
about
or she has been in a few.
what about Uncle June? Because then you get all of the Sopranos and you get the Godfather movies.
Well, actually, the answer there, Robert
Do you get the
Loggia.
shows too? Then?
Robert Loggia
I'll say yeah.
has been in a ton of movies.
Yeah.
Including Scarface.
Because if we get shows too, then like Mark Hamill.
Here's one I might be able to get you to buy into. Sam Jackson.
Hell yeah, man! You get some
absolutely.
great movies.
You get most of the
215 acting credits.
You get Star Wars. You get most Tarantino movies.
Yeah, I just watched Pulp
Pretty
Fiction.
much all the Tarantino
yeah, seriously, you
movies.
get almost every
Uh-huh.
Tarantino movie.
Patriot Games, Snakes on a Plane.
That's a really good pick. Wow.
Yeah, there's some good. Donald Sutherland is another one.
R.I.P.
Mm.
R.I.P.
Didn't he recently pass?
Oh, wait a minute. Here you go. James Earl Jones.
Oh man, yeah, you get all the Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
You get Coming to America, Soul Man, Field of Dreams.
Jay Scurtat says Denzel. Denzel's been in see now that's going for the more star-driven vehicle, but you
here's
get a
another
lot
good
of good
answer.
ones.
Here's another
Patrick
good answer.
Stewart.
Michael Caine.
Oh yeah, you get
Michael
almost
Caine.
all the
Michael
Nolan
Caine.
movies.
And then,
I
yeah,
bet in a lot of movies.
Well, multiple people have mentioned Clint Eastwood,
Eastwood's
Yeah.
been in a lot.
but
of
again,
good
just
movies.
acting. But still, yeah, you get a lot of stuff.
what about Patrick Stewart? How do we feel about that? You'd get
Yeah.
X-Men. You'd get all the Star Trek movie. Well, a lot of the Star Trek
I'll
movies.
I'll give you one more.
Okay.
Anthony Hopkins.
Oh,
See,
151 acting credits.
honestly, I don't know how many movies I've actually seen him in.
You would
I've
get-
seen Silence of the Lambs. I've seen Hannibal.
Mhm.
I've seen the other one, Red Dragon.
You would get a Star Trek movie. I don't remember which
I
one.
haven't really
Elephant
seen-
Man, which we probably should pick for Movie Club.
Is it good?
It's a very good
Old
movie.
Man Doug, classic answer from him, says John Wayne. Nah, I'm good. Don't need
Robert Duvall.
it. Robert Duvall, that's a good one.
You get the original Godfather.
Actually,
You
you know
get
what?
Gone in 60 Seconds.
I'm gonna go with Michael Caine. A lot of my favorite movies, Michael Caine just happens to be in.
Okay. Who are you going with? You never gave an answer.
I mean, I said Harrison Ford initially
It's a good pick, John.
It's a really good pick.
because you got a lot of great
Let's
movies.
What about
Christopher-
Adam Sandler?
You'd have a lot of stinkers. You'd have to watch Jack and Jill.
What about Will Ferrell?
Will Ferrell would be pretty good.
Actually, the correct answer is Peter North.
Do you know who that is?
Mm-mm.
Oh, Nick doesn't know who Peter North is? Bet you can guess.
No.
Peter
North.
North.
Oh.
Come on, Nick. Wow, Gen Z. Does Gen Z not know about Peter North?
We don't really have porn stars now.
Well,
Like, there's some, but most of them are OnlyFans and TikTokers.
wow.
I mean-
Kevin says
I
Michael.
mean, that's a huge variety of movies.
yes, and they always end the same.
they always have a happy ending.
Kevin writes Michael Keaton.
That's not bad.
Uh-huh.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
We just had a caller who said Christopher Walken.
Oh, he's in some Tarantino
And
stuff.
some music videos.
Don't need.
I think
those, though.
Christopher Lee's a really good pick, too, though.
Yeah,
Yeah, because Nick gets the Star Wars and the Lord of the Rings.
I get both things that I like. Also, really good dramatic actor.
Lance says Gene Hackman.
Ooh.
Gene Hackman was in some good stuff and a lot of different stuff. Oh wait, that's the one that I just read. John, do you have any more?
Yes. Let's see. Not using that one.
I have one from Kev.
All
Would
right,
you
go-
rather argue with your significant other from the top of an escalator when they ride up in front of the crowd, or argue in an elevator with one awkward bystander frantically pushing the next floor button? Yeah, so is the purpose of this to argue and to make them uncomfortable? Because if that's the answer, the elevator one
Yes.
is way more
But
uncomfortable.
the one at the top of the escalator, you're in front of everybody who's in the vicinity.
I don't think
Yes.
the goal is to make people uncomfortable. I think it's just whatever you would. I think it's about your comfortability.
Well,
if you'd be embarrassed that
it's
you're
what
having a
you're.
fight.
It's
Yeah.
It's whatever the argument is about,
Yeah.
and winning that argument.
I'm going to go elevator because that guy could probably get an amazing story out of that to tell his friends.
That
not
is
wrong.
true.
Mike, going back to the previous question, Robert Downey Jr. covers a lot of ground.
Ooh,
as
I
would
was
Chris
thinking about
Evans.
that one.
Yeah, because again, there was another person that someone mentioned. Oh, it was that Samuel L. Jackson. With him, you get a ton of the Marvel stuff. Yeah, and if you're someone who likes that, you get one of the characters in one of those movies, and you can cover a ton of stuff. Robert Downey Jr. definitely gets you a lot of different types of movies, and you get, again, if you like the superhero movies, then you're going to get a ton of those too.
Sam Jackson is also really. I keep flip flopping so much. There's so many good
Severe
ones.
says, "Isn't Tom Cruise the best answer?"
Tom Cruise has been in a lot of movies.
Yes, he has.
You get all the Mission Impossible movies, which all except the second one are great.
Mm.
Mission Impossible 2 sucks.
You get some movies that I haven't seen from the 80s, but you get Rain Man, which is we did that in Movie Club. Very good movie. Yeah, Bill says, Tom Cruise, he might be crazy, and I wouldn't call him my favorite actor, but he's got a wide range, a large filmography, and some of my favorite movies, including Collateral and The Last Samurai, fall under this category.
You really do need to. This does turn into a quantity over quality situation because you're not going to want to run out of things.
You need the best balance. You need the best balance.
Which
of-
again, you go with someone who has the biggest package, and that's Peter
Nice.
North.
nice. But
See, and that's why I think Matt Damon, man, like I think Matt Damon's movies, you get a ton of stuff. You get all of the Ocean's movies, you get the Bourne movies. I'm looking. You get Good Will Hunting.
You get
Let's see. Talented Mr. Ripley we did recently. You get Saving Private Ryan. You get The Departed. You get Rounders.
the movie about Mars that I can't think of the name of.
The
right now.
Martian.
The Martian. Thank
You get Oppenheimer. There's a lot of different types of stuff in there.
Does Team America World Police count?
Yes. Yeah. You get Team America. Why not?
Matt Damon.
Exactly. His Kevin Smith movies, as Wade points out. Exactly. He was in the Kevin Smith movies.
Oh, was he?
He was in a couple of them. He was in one, John, cover your ears, made fun of Catholics called Dogma.
Oh,
Very
that's right.
funny movie.
They never played Dogma. They used to play it on Comedy Central a lot.
Very funny movie.
I've only seen it once.
Yeah. We could watch that for movie club, but John, I don't know if he'd be allowed.
We should
to.
watch it for Movie Club because I think it is a good. I remember people thinking fondly of that
It
movie.
began with like it had a title card at the very beginning, and you can't stream Dogma.
Yeah, I
they
think it's
said.
hard to find.
Can't we just watch the opening ceremonies over again?
Nice, John. Very good.
Watching
Well-
Gojira. John,
played.
I thought you would have liked that. It had a beheaded Marie Antoinette.
Yeah,
It was the damn Olympics. I didn't give a
You
crap.
hate the French, though. Wouldn't you love to see a beheaded French person?
No, not really.
You would have loved the French Revolution.